Hey all, Holly Warner here. I'd like to chit chat a little bit about a subject that I'm sure if you follow me, you've heard me mention before, but apparently I need to say it again. Fiber is not an essential nutrient. Let that sink in. I know, we've been told we need to have fiber in our diets because fiber makes us poop. It doesn't. It actually hinders that. We're adding fiber into our diet in the form of vegetables. We're getting fiber from food. We're supplementing with it. We're adding, all of these things and fucking Metamucil and like protein shakes with fiber added and fiber E's and fiber this and fiber that because it's going to protect our colon and keep our colon healthy. No, it's not. It's actually going to hurt our colon. It's going to stretch it out, make it bigger, and now it's going to become impacted. All of the issues that I see with patients within my clinical practice don't come from a lack of fiber, they come from too much fiber. Now, check this funny thing that was sent to me yesterday out. Yeah, look at this. Okay, so this fun little screenshot here was from Dr. Mark Hyman, who, you know what? The guy doesn't know his head from his ass on a good day. He puts things out and I shake my head because I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Are you just doing this for ratings and views? Like, I don't get you. Our ancestors, our hunter-gatherer ancestors ate 100 to 150 grams of fiber every day. No, they didn't. We weren't grazing on grass. I'm not a freaking cow. Ugh. Our ancestors ate freaking meat. Are you gonna tell me that I went out in the snow? I dug some holes, try and find some of the brown dead leaves and grass that maybe were hiding underneath the snow with some mold, and I was eating those? Because no. Nothing's growing, there's snow on the ground. What was I was probably eating tree bark. That's what it was. Although you probably did eat tree bark because you can eat some tree bark. I didn't say it was good for you. I just said that you could do it. And that's actually in some of your fiber products that you're purchasing off of store shelves, but that's a whole other topic that I'll get to. So here's the thing. I don't have any issues pooping on a carnivore diet. None of my patients have issues pooping on a carnivore diet. I know. This is mind-boggling. Where am I getting my fiber from? My also essential fiber that you don't need. You know what fiber's gonna do? It's gonna give you large stools. Big shits. Big, stretchy, stretch out your colon kinds of shits. It's going to give you hemorrhoids. Because you're pushing to get these large poops out of your butt that you're not designed to have to do. So you're gonna get hemorrhoids. Our anal canal is not meant to be that freaking large. Now let's talk about aging. As we get older, things start to decline. Our hearing, our eyesight, muscles, bones. Now, of course, if you're seeing me, that probably won't happen because we're going to have you on bioidentical hormones. We're going to balance the shit out of your systems. We're going to make sure that you're not deficient in nutrients and vitamins because you'll be carnivore. Okay, not everybody's carnivore, but I might try and pitch it to you because you know what? You'll be able to use what you eat instead of losing it through your poop. That being said, 60 years old is a magic number. That is the number that a lot of people end up finding out like, oh my God, I've got diverticulitis. Guess what? You ate too much fiber. I know, it's a thing. As we age, everything starts to decline. And as I said, our eyesight, our hearing, all of these things, the muscle density, our bone density, our muscles, all of this stuff starts to kind of dwindle down. Guess what? Same with your intestine. That whole elasticity and stretchiness that you've been stretching out and shrinking down gets weakened and you end up with issues. Here goes Ashley, just hanging out, just in the background there. She's leaving though, it's okay. I'm recording a video, no worries.
Oh, well then hello.
She's also carnivore. I have brought her over to the dark side for a 30-day experiment she's doing to see how it affects athletes and their performance. But you have to go to her website to see those videos and her YouTube channel. It's actually quite fascinating.
Carnivore.
She's so pretty.
Go to my YouTube channel.
Go to her YouTube. AshleyMatthew.com. No. What's your YouTube? Ashley Matthew? That's it?
Literally just Google my name.
Or just Google her name. I don't need to follow her. I live with her. I hear it all of the time. All of the time. So we can talk about Crohn's and colitis. Another thing that we seem to be seeing patients go into remission for while being on carnivore diet. Why? Because we eliminated the freaking fiber. I mean, legit. Take it out. You're correcting a lot of the issues. These are diseases that are considered irreversible. You have it. You're going to have it for the rest of your life. Here's a medication. Take all of this. Let us inject you with shit that's going to give you cancer. Not if, but when. Because this is how it works. But what if you took out the fiber? What if you just went on a carnivore diet? Huh. Interesting. It would improve. Well, this goes against everything that we've been taught, but it works. Now, since dietary fiber is thought to be pretty much the primary cause of ulcerative colitis, you're going to want to say, let's take that out. Since ulcerative colitis and a few other things, polyps, those go too, because you're not irritating, so bye-bye little bumpies, little polyps, pre-indicators of cancer, that means that you've just lowered your risk of colon cancer. But I thought we were supposed to eat fiber to prevent colon cancer. Yeah, show me that literature. That's not how it works. Like, at all. At all. Period. Stop, rewind, listen to that again. Fiber, cause cancer. No fiber, prevent cancer. I know, it's a hard one to swallow. So let's recap. Colorectal disease, take the fiber out, correct it. Diverticulitis, diverticulosis, ulcerative colitis, Crohn's, you name it, hemorrhoids, chronic constipation, irritable bowel syndrome, irritable bowel disease, which we kind of capped there. All of these can be rectified, reversed, and eliminated. Yay! When we take the fiber out of our diet. I know I sound like a crazy person because I'm like, get the fiber out. But it is legit, people. Now, fiber is like caffeine. It is an addiction. Your body becomes dependent on it. So you've created a monster. We can reverse that. Slowly, but surely, it can be done. Let's talk about something that not a lot of people are talking about. I mean, okay, yes, we're talking about hemorrhoids, but we're not really talking about these anal fissures. And I've had a few patients that have come to me throughout the years that have had these, and they're draining and they're having issues, and they usually tend to have colitis or Crohn's to go with it. So you see, they go hand in hand. Here's the problem. These anal fissures or little fistulas that are draining, these little holes that are going all the way up, these little pathways, like they're creating roads to lead to I don't know where. These are issues that come because we've got these big poops that we're trying to pull out. It's a defect in the human anatomy. I know, who would have thought we're not perfect? These abnormal stools are getting stuck. They get stuck in the colon or they get stuck in the rectum and they wreck shit up. Rectum damn near killed him. Okay, the complications are you end up with this stuff. So what do you want to do? You got a bull in a china shop, right? You're like wrecking shit up. You're tearing up your anus. This isn't good for anybody. This is no fun. Need to fix that. Something else that's super cool is that when we eliminate a lot of that dietary fiber, in my case, like all of it, you're gonna see an improvement, ladies, in the PMS component. Yeah, funny. And now I know a lot of ladies are like, but if I'm not pooping every day, I'm not eliminating that harmful, those bad estrogens. That's a whole other video. Let me just say that theory went out with the bathwater. It's no good. Don't pay attention to it. Unless you're eating a SAD diet, a standard American diet, or a diet that is vegan, sorry about it, or vegetarian or high in fiber foods, in which case then yeah, you want to be pooping multiple times per day. But if you're getting that fiber out, you don't need to worry about that as much. You're going to be utilizing and consuming and utilizing all of these vitamins and nutrients. You're not going to be turning them into toxic waste. You're using everything that you're eating. Get the fiber out. We need to rebalance out our flora. We need to essentially restore our ancestral sensitivity to food and vitamins and minerals and get away from this fiber dependency that I'm seeing, which is brutal. And yes, you're not going to get colorectal cancer. It's not going to happen. You're going to prevent it. I know we need to get it into our heads. It's really hard because we think that we need fiber. You don't need fiber to shit. Fiber's not preventing cancer. Fiber is a fucking risk. I can't say it enough times. I totally can't monetize this video now because I've sworn in it, but I don't care. So share it for me. Okay, I really wanted to show this simply because it's something that comes from Harvard School of Public Health. Let's look at this. So, for years, we've been told to consume a high fiber diet because we want to do what? We want to reduce our risk of colon cancer. Now, if we're looking at this stuff here, we're going to see that one of these guys here, a Harvard study, followed over 80,000 female nurses for 16 years. That's a big chunk. They found that dietary fiber was not strongly associated with a reduced risk for either colon cancer or polyps, which are, as I've mentioned, the precursor to colon cancer. Let that sink in for a second. So legit, when you look at this, this is a Harvard study. Now, I pull a lot of stuff from Stanford Med and from Harvard because they're pretty reputable sources, I'd say, for the most part. 80,000 people for 16 years. That's some good data, folks. And it didn't give enough to say that we can make the claim that fiber prevents colorectal cancer and polyps being the precursor as well. I'm sorry, but these tiny studies that we had that were like, oh, there might be some way that maybe fiber prevents some stuff or maybe fiber is good for us. These were tiny, tiny studies. Larger, better designed studies have proven it is not the case. We don't need the fiber. Larger, better studies. Okay, now, I pulled something else up, which I haven't actually screenshot, and I probably should, but the FDA, not that I like anything the FDA has to say anyway, we all know our thoughts and opinions on the FDA, but here's what they said. Letter regarding dietary supplement health claims of fiber with respect to colorectal cancer. Are you listening? FDA has concluded from this review that the totality of the publicly available scientific evidence not only demonstrates lack of significant scientific agreement as to the validity of a relationship between dietary fiber and colorectal cancer, but it also proves and provides strong evidence that such a relationship does in fact not exist. What's super cool though is that you can actually find a number of mainstream studies that are out there, mainstream, easy to access, public access. You can go and Google them. If you understand how to read a study, it should be pretty simple. They demonstrate that there is an actual connection between fiber consumption and polyps, which precede colon cancer. So what that tells me is that eat the fiber, get the polyps, colon cancer. Don't eat the fiber. Okay, so here's a fun fact as well. A lot of you guys are like, that's okay, I go for a regular colonoscopy, or I've had a colonoscopy and I had this or I didn't have that and no polyps were found. Here's some shitty information for you. A lot of times there are no polyps to be found. And then all of a sudden you go and colon cancer. Just like that. It's like, wait a second. did we just skip through a bunch of stuff? We skipped a bunch of stuff. I'm not quite sure what happened here. We just like skipped over where was the warning signs? Where did my heads up go? I didn't have polyps. You're not always going to find polyps. Just like you're not always going to find proof of Crohn's. Sometimes it can take 10 years. You know, science isn't perfect, guys. Neither are our diagnostic tools. Ladies, something else that I've been hearing a lot from you guys out there, especially since I deal with women's hormones so much, is that, carbohydrates in a fiber-rich diet are going to help you prevent getting essentially breast cancer. This is not a thing. This is actually a complete lie. And I have mentioned this time and time again, but I'm going to review it again. Carbohydrates in a fiber-rich diet, fiber-rich products, we're adding all this fiber in, we're actually increasing our risk of breast cancer. I don't want that. Zero interest in that. Here's the thing. We've got these undigestible fibers in these natural carbohydrates. So you're eating all these fruits and fucking all these healthy greens and all that stuff. It's undigestible. That means it's gonna hang out in your colon for a while and wreak some havoc on some things. So this is gonna go for, your whole grains and these whole grain myth. We bought into this buzzword of whole grain is better. No grain is better. That's what's better. Like, cut those grains out. This is why there's this epidemic within this vegan community and the vegetarian community, where I'm starting to see all of these health issues from patients of mine that have been, vegan or vegetarian for any length of time. Well, I don't understand why I'm getting fat, or I don't understand why my joints are aching, and I don't understand why X, Y, and Z. And no, I'm going to get crucified from the vegan community, and I'm fine with that. Listen, if you're doing it because of ethical reasons, then bless your heart for saving the animals. You are better than me. But if you're doing it for health reasons, there are no health reasons to be doing it. I don't give a shit what anyone says. The science is there, and your science is lacking, whereas we're constantly finding that the science is changing. And I used to be heavily plant-based. I was like, eat your greens, guys. Now I'm like, greens are for the front of your house. Plant them so that your entranceway looks pretty. Now, for each gram of natural fiber, food contains 5 to 10 grams of sugars and starches. Say what? So we're being told, for example, the American Heart Association and our like food pyramids and Canadian guides and all of the things, that we should be having like 25 to 30 grams of dietary fiber every day, preferably from fruits and vegetables and legumes and whole grains. No. Again, this is not the case. I mean, hello to the anti-nutrients of Satan. Here's the thing though. So along with getting your 25 to 30 grams of this fiber from, natural sources and the fruits and the veggies and the yada, 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 you're also getting about 300 grams of a digestible sugar and starch during that same time frame. What's that going to do? I mean, it doesn't sound like that's a good thing. Here's the thing though. I mean, if you're anything like I used to be, you're also going to be consuming things like, juice, or maybe some milk, or goodies and treats, and other sources of sugar, side dishes, some rice, and this and that, some whatever. Like, your diet's not just made up of these, fruits and veggies. You're also getting other sources of sugars, which is a problem because, we're going to go back and talk a little bit about this whole like estrogen and like breast cancer idea. When you look at the cancer epidemiology biomarkers for prevention of cancers, especially with regards to breast cancer, what we've found in the findings, and I should probably take a screenshot of this, although it's super technical, so maybe I won't. Basic gist of it is that a high percentage of the calories from carbohydrates, not from fat, were associated with increased risk of breast cancer. And that's, you've got CDC putting out information, you've got cancer and epidemiology studies, you've got JAMA, you've got there's like a ton of information that's going to show you essentially broken down that fat's not an issue, carbohydrates are the issue. So you're increasing your breast cancer risk with those carbs. Not great. But hey, fat's good, so that's good. Here's the thing. As many of you women know, insulin resistance is the bitch. And a lot of us have it. A lot of us have pre-existing conditions which contribute to insulin resistance. There's insulin resistance also that contributes to conditions. So when you look at this and you investigate it and you really kind of like hone in on what's going on, you're going to find that if you've got any kind of insulin resistance or you're at high risk for insulin resistance, you really want to be paying attention to your carb load. It is not ideal. Now, before you come at me and you say carbs are fine, I don't eat that many, you're probably eating more than you think, and your risk of getting breast cancer is actually increased by 222%. That is a massive increase. With something like, oh gosh, you know what? I'm not even sure, so I don't want to spit out a number and have it be inaccurate and then get crucified for it, but it was a high number of the populace that they had tested, and it came back as 222%, which is a high percentage. Okay, well that was depressing enough. So, side note, that was 60% of your diet coming from carbs. So I mean, if you're having less than that in your diet, I guess you're not going to be having such an exponential jump in numbers to that 200+%. That being said, let's go to the next little tidbit of information, which is super cool because we all see the little heart healthy sign on all of our things like Cheerios or fiber this and fiber that. They have that like heart healthy stamp on it. They're good for your heart because fiber prevents heart disease, right? Here's the thing. They're saying that fiber lowers cholesterol. Well, every hormone in your body is dependent on cholesterol. So, you know, you kind of need to have that. We're not testing people properly. Statins don't work. Again, whole other video. But if we're not testing people properly to have a peek as to what's actually going on, big picture, oh, look at your triglycerides. Here's your HDL and your LDL. Okay, but what's the particle size? In my LDL, which particles do I have more of that you're saying is an issue? Because if it's those soft, fluffy, cloud-like ones, I'm not too worried. If it's the jagged ones that are gonna rip and shred and tear their way through everything in my body, then yeah, maybe that's slightly more concerning. That being said, probably isn't gonna be those. So you're telling me to have more fiber in my diet because it's gonna help to lower my cholesterol and that's heart healthy. But it's not. What's super funny is that the studies that they did on this actually went together with also a low-fat diet. So let's take the fiber completely out of there. When that component's not there, you know what you're gonna find? Your cholesterol would have been lowered anyway, no matter what, because you're having a low-fat diet. I mean, you're gonna get Alzheimer's and your brain's gonna be fried. You won't be able to remember what the fuck you went to the grocery store for, even if you had a list, which you didn't write because you forgot to write one. Yeah, no, that is not good. Nobody should be doing low fat, and that's just dumb, first of all. Second of all, the fiber had nothing to do with the heart health and lowering cholesterol. It was the fat component. You're doing it wrong. Here's something else that I should probably mention for the ladies out there. When they followed women in regards to this study, and they were looking at the cholesterol that was actually lowered, it was in such a tiny, minuscule amount that it was negligible. So who even cares? Also, the LDL that was lowered was the particles that were the fluffy ones, like clouds. So they didn't even matter. Those are the good particles of the bad cholesterol. Ugh. It's not bad. It's good. You still need that. You still need LDL cholesterol. Ladies, where's your libido at? Oh, you don't have one? How's your cholesterol? Oh, it's nice and low. I'm good, thanks. Perfect. And now you can't fuck. I said it. And you're probably cranky. Men, how about you? I don't know about you, but I think most guys want to have a decent amount of testosterone going on. And if you don't have adequate cholesterol, your dick's gonna do that. That's right. You need some. Heart health my ass. So just to recap a little bit so you guys can understand what I'm saying here, women who follow, the American Heart Association's guidelines or any of these ridiculous heart healthy guidelines funded by the fucking fiber powers that be. This is stupid to me. Your serum cholesterol, blood serum cholesterol, you're lowering it, but you're increasing your risk of heart disease. We got that? I wanted to give that a second for the dramatic pause to let it sink in. Okay, so let's talk about diabetes for a second here. Did you know that it's recommended that you have all of these healthy, lower your cholesterol and have these healthy starches and fibers and blah, blah, blah to help you with your diabetes? So get your fiber in because it's going to help lower your risk of diabetes. Say what? Say what now? You want me to have more fiber to lower? No, I don't. Sugars and starches, especially in excess, are a contributing factor to non-insulin dependent diabetes, like type 2 diabetes. I'm having a really hard time with this, guys. These recommendations that are out there and so publicized are actually making us sicker. So why are we doing them? This doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so here's a fun fact for you guys as well. Let's look at juvenile diabetes. Not gestational, juvenile. So kids with diabetes. Kids should not be getting diabetes, but we've increased our fiber consumption so much for kids, and that includes giving them these little fiber supplement things. Here, drink this. Tastes like chocolate. It'll make you poop. It's not going to make you poop. It is going to obstruct your duodenum, a child's very small, childlike duodenum. That is not. So what happens? Okay, well, it's going to cause some inflammation, and we all know inflammation is not ideal. So now we're creating inflammation in our children. That's bad. And this inflammation blocks the bile ducts, interferes with stuff like insulin being secreted and all of the fun functions of our pancreas. Let's go back to the bile ducts for a second there. I can't digest my food if I don't have full, flowing, not thick, sludgy, but nice, healthy, open gates, flowing bile. Helps you with digestion, folks. That's key. So these kids with this rising prevalence of all these digestive issues, yet here we are giving them more and more and more fiber. Stop. You're screwing up your kids. Okay, I haven't even gone into oxalate issues and everything else that kind of comes with the dietary fiber that we're consuming. I'll save that for another video because this video's got to be like 20 minutes long already. I'm ranting enough as it is. Listen, fiber is going to interfere with certain medications that you're taking, which is why, and this is like non-diabetic medications. This is just like in general medications. So you got to watch that, thyroid medication. Don't want to be having your fiber and your thyroid meds because it's going to block some shit from happening. It's also blocking your essential nutrients, that assimilation, the bioavailability may have been there when you ate it, but then this fiber that you consumed with it was like, oh no, we're gonna put some walls up and stop you from being able to really utilize all of that stuff you just consumed that came from veggies, which isn't actually bioavailable anyway. So go eat a steak. Okay, so recap. Let's go back to Harvard School of Public Health. And they put out a little statement that says what? Fiber intake has also been linked with metabolic syndrome. Hey, something I deal with in my clinical practice basically daily. Multiple times a day, actually. A whole bunch of factors that increase the chances of developing what? Heart disease and diabetes. It's coming from Harvard, folks. So high blood pressure, high insulin levels, insulin resistance, excess weight, especially around the abdomen, right in there. That's the cortisol and the stress hormone. Well, what you eat's also stressing you out. So that's a problem. Low levels of HDL, that's the one that we want to have more of because that's been deemed the good cholesterol. That's bad. High levels of triglycerides. So wait a second, now I'm gonna have hormone imbalances and some diabetes and some heart disease and also then some breast cancer because that's a thing. So higher intake of cereal fiber, whole grains may somehow ward off this increasingly common syndrome? I'm gonna go with no on that one. Okay, so let's look at the Journal of Nutrition. Fermentable and non-fermentable fiber supplements did not alter hunger, satiety, or body weight in a pilot study of both men and women consuming self-selected diets. So no real specific diet. You were eating what you were eating when you came into it. It was what it was, whether it was healthy or not healthy. However, we tell people, like, if you want to be satiated, just up your fiber. No, honey, don't do that. Increase your fats. You want satiety? Increase your fats. You want brain function? Increase your fats. You want to get fat? Increase your carbs and your fiber. Fiber isn't it. I get the concept that if I eat more fiber, I've got more bulk, and if there's bulk, you know, it's like when your grandma said, have oatmeal, it sticks to your ribs. No, it sticks to my fucking arteries. The bonus about having fat, though, is that fat's not going to stretch out your colon like fiber is going to, which means that your water absorbency expands up to 10 times because you've increased your fiber. Now you're going to suck up all that moisture. It's going to increase your stomach's capacity, which means now you have to eat even more to be satiated because you've stretched out your little fucking bucket. Expanding your stomach over time leads to overeating, so that's kind of a no-brainer. That's kind of some logic there. Shove your face full of stuff, stretch out your stomach, gonna eat more. You don't want that. And of course, overeating in and of itself stimulates both the hunger hormones and hunger itself to happen. So you overeat, then you wanna constantly be eating to stay full. It stimulates your appetite. We don't want that. I mean, intermittent fasting is fantastic. We've been doing it for like eons. So there's some food for thought, or not food. Okay, so there you have it. Excuse me. In my ramblings of all of the information that I've come across over my years and years of being in a functional medicine practice and changing my own dietary theories because I saw results when nothing else worked. I've played with whole food plant-based diets. I have looked at fiber consumption. Fiber's never been something I was convinced of, and now I know that I'm right because, you know, go read the book The Fiber Menace by Konstantin fucking something or other crazy. Anyway, it was a pretty good book. I enjoyed reading it. Not that I go along 100% with all of his theories or all of anyone's theories for that matter. Do your own research, look into things, see how you feel. Fiber is a non-essential anti-nutrient. I'm going to call it an anti-nutrient because it's not a nutrient. We don't need fiber. You don't need fiber to poop. You don't need it. It is not essential. Fiber is like, get it out. You don't need it. So this is my video for the day. I'm voguing, apparently. Get the fiber out. Okay. The next one I'm going to tackle is going to be oxalates because, yeah. Bye, guys.